So now that we have everything tight, we are going to work on Mud Cricket's exhaust. Now I did have to flip this around, only because most cars are facing the exhaust off of the passenger side, and I figured I'd just stick with it. Anyway, the fart can does fit in here. It's tight, but it does fit. So I think what we're gonna need to do, if you look, you will see that this exhaust is going to hit my tube. So we need to bend this down a little more. I have no way to bend this other than making a couple of cuts in here and then closing up that gap that's created by the cut and then welding them back together. The other thing that I need to do is to cut this off, because this is obviously not gonna work. It has to be back farther. So it's actually gonna be a little bit farther than that, I think. Once we get this cut off, I can prop up this exhaust in where it's gonna be. I can start working on this to tie into it. I do have a couple other pieces to go in there. Let's get at it. Now I'm using a combination square to try to get a nice flat angle, I guess would be the right way to say it. All right, so we've got 3 cuts, and we're gonna see how far we get. Probably one more cut, I think. I did opt for one more cut, and I think with that one cut, I think that's gonna line up perfectly. So we're gonna leave that. Now we're gonna get started on the muffler. So this is the old piece that came off of the tri-mill. I did sandblast it, so we're clean. I've got 1/8 inch spacers all the way around, so it's kind of centered. I'm just gonna put a couple tacks around it and then run with it. Now I've had to come up with a bracket to actually hold this, and I do have the rear cross member bolt holes not being used, and I don't think I need to use all of them, but we're gonna run with this. We'll put a 90 in it just to cradle the fart can. So I need a straight edge because we want the exhaust to be level. So we'll go off the cage. I don't really have anything else to go off of at this point. And what we're trying to do is figure out our angle right in that vicinity. I could be a little off. You can always fill that, but that's our angle right there. So now that we have this in the vise, what I've got to do is kind of cut some slits in here and get it to rotate so that this coming out this way will be like so. So it's really not that much. Maybe I'll have to put 6 or 7 cuts in here. So for our cuts, we're going to use our combination square. So now that we've got all these cut, this scribed line here is what I'm going to use to keep everything straight so that we don't get it twisted. A little off is okay. I can deal with a little bit of variance. That shouldn't be too hard to cover up. But I think we're good, and we're gonna start tacking this together. So I did mark this line right where I needed it. So I'm gonna cut it about 1/4 of an inch longer because it's a lot easier to take a little off than it is to add it. So one of the plans is to have the mega clamp right at the muffler. So I think what I need to do at this point is I need to weld this off, get this cut, get the mega clamp on it, and then stuff it back into the car. Once all of that's done, I'll be able to put the muffler back in here, install the mega clamp on the piece that's coming in here, get everything tacked up. Then we'll be able to remove the mega clamp and the muffler so that I can pull all of this off in one piece to get it all welded, sandblasted, painted. Then it's got to cure for a week before I can wrap it. So all right, so we're getting ready to tack all this together. I have added a piece of angle and extrusion so we know that it's straight. And then I can set the other one up underneath here. I've got the mega clamp on, and I think that's pretty straight. I mean, it's as straight as it's gonna be. I've also managed to get my bracket made. There's my bracket that's going to hold. Granted, it's not on anything yet, but it will be. That's actually gonna hold the muffler. And I'm just gonna set the camera on the side, and I guess we'll high speed this because this will take a little while. And now that this has been sandblasted, we are ready for paint. It looks like dookie, but it'll work. Here's the bracket that I made on the floor. So we've got it all painted up, ready to go. And this spacer is gonna go right there. But it does kind of touch this here. So I need to put a spacer on the back of it. And we're gonna do that by just putting a washer back there. Like so. And then we're gonna start it. Oh, come on, get up in there. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but. So there's that. Now the backside on a Type 4 engine, where the bracket is a little bit, there's actually a lot of space between this hole and the plate. So that's where these spacers come into play. So we are going to put that spacer back there. First thing we got to do is put the spacer in. And then the bolt. Like so. And we'll just give them a little irk, make sure they're snug. Good. So that bracket's in place. So now that we've got the exhaust painted, it's not cured yet. I don't plan to start the car for quite some time. It says it's gonna be handled after 3 hours and 7 days to cure. So we've got at least that. And this is what we used, the VHT flame proof. And I mean, I'm happy with it. That's what the silver was that was on it. And now we're gonna wrap it. I do have some titanium exhaust wrap left. Wrap it around this section and then cover the whole thing and then work our way down. And I'm hoping that's enough. Should be enough, I hope. So now that we have this wrapped, let's get it on the car. Well, that wasn't so bad. Man, I thought that was gonna be a lot longer. A lot longer. Okay, well, wrapped up like a mummy, I suppose. But there's our end. Now, you can see that hole there. Right there is my bracket. And we're just gonna slide this exhaust in here. Let me set the camera up and see if I can't. Maybe I can prop it up here. All right, moment of truth, I guess. Like trying to stuff 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound paper bag. Well, that is her in all of her glory. And I still need to do the wiring and stuff. But the exhaust is done. And I do love these clamps. They are so, I mean, they seal up tight, nice. Even used ones, honestly. But there's my bracket. Nice and snug. I think we're golden. I don't really know how I feel about that wrap. But if it works, that's all that matters. I don't know if it'll help with the engine cooling, but we'll see. And that's going to do it for this week's video. I'm quite happy with how the exhaust came out. It doesn't make any rattling noises, so that's a plus. And I know you all wanted to hear it, but I still have the braided hoses to do, and I think that's going to be next week's video. Shouldn't take me more than a couple of days to, figure all that out and get it all lined up. We also need to replace the oil thermostat. We're going to do an oil change at the same time, and obviously. If you've all enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. And y'all be good to one another, and we'll catch you all on the flip side.